Yeah, I mean, so the one of the big lessons out of this whole uh, challenge that we face ourselves, is or that faces us is having to change how we do things, right? So
Hmm.
having to change how one conducts their entire life, really. So it's not just about the career that you're in, but it's also about thinking about all the other different bits that connect to the industry that you are in. So if you think about DJs typically, DJs would focus on getting bookings and getting as many bookings as possible, and not concerning themselves with gates if they're getting in with a promoter that's able to pay, um, but also so the focus is sort of singular. But right now we have to understand the different parts that impact the industry at its healthiest, right? So if you think about the alcohol industry, truth be told, this is where all of these industries center around, right? So whether you're a restaurant or a club, or any kind of space where people gather,
Hmm.
to enjoy themselves, the alcohol sales are then very critical, to revenue
Yeah.
streams.
Hmm.
So as an artist now, you sort of have to say to yourself, well, I did not have this, maybe you didn't have this understanding of how you are impacted by something that's seemingly far away from you, because you are here kind of doing your performance.
Hmm.
So in light of that, and in light of what that industry needs now, what are the creative ways of thinking around those particular industries, in order to continue the relationship, but perhaps in a different platform, start a new conversation, so understanding all the inputs that go into what makes, revenues for you becomes an important thing. This
Absolutely.
whole COVID and lockdown is forcing us to be, so beyond artists, we've just got to be entrepreneurs, and we've got to be marketers, and we've got to be creatives, all at the same time. So it's a big opportunity, I feel. Now that we've gone through the crying of losing jobs and losing money and losing all these things, we now have to kind of sit back and say, okay, so what's our fight back strategy? What are we learning out of this, and what are we taking with us? And I think a complete understanding of how the industry works is what is now required, and an ecosystem, is something that's got to be built by the creatives now, not the marketers, not people who own products, but the
Hmm.
creators themselves.
I agree with you on that one, and I want to get um, Evil's reaction to what you just said here. What do you take from that? And are you already implementing what Brother Greg just dropped here as far as knowledge? Give me 1 second. Sorry. Let me unmute you. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, I agree with what Greg is saying. With sales being hard, with physical sales, digital sales, name it. With advertising spending being hard. Big brands posing their advertising campaigns, some slashing their budgets, which are affecting ad-supported, music channels, which results to revenues, for the industry and less income for the artists. We have to look for other innovative ways. So I totally agree with what Greg is saying. We need to look for innovative ecosystems, where we how do we put it? Where we basically have to understand that with this impact as well happening, it has affected human behavior.
Exactly.
People have had the time to sit down and introspect and reevaluate, and some of them even have less disposable income right now. You know what I mean? So
No, that's
It's
definitely the majority of that's for
exactly.
majority of people. Yeah.
Exactly. So you see that has impacted the human behavior of everyone, including our fans and people who consume music as well. You know,
True.
and you know, finding these innovative ecosystems, which I think we're all learning on how we can do this. I don't have all the answers, but
No, but we're here to
you know,
explore that.
exactly. You know, it's all about also understanding how we can now return that tangible, how to put it, that tangible value in music. You know, not only in music, how can we interact and be able to be more innovative in regards to understanding how the system works and how we can be able to basically, if something like this is to happen again, you know, how can we all be cushioned? How can we all find ways of you know,
You're right. And I believe one
you
of
know what
the
I mean?
things that we need to do is
Yeah.
save money. That's for sure. Because
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
this has disclosed
That's
the
right.
amount of
That's right.
yo, my brother.
Because you know, the thing is, a number of trends have been affected. There's where we listen to music, when we listen to music, why we listen to music, and crucially, what we listen to has been fundamentally affected. You know, in the course of this last year. You know, and that goes in tandem with the human behavior. And I was talking to a couple of my friends who are psychologists and sociologists, you know, and I was trying to rack their minds to understand how this pandemic has affected human behavior. And I think us as music contributors, I think these are the other ways we should look to finding solutions as well, you know, because I think it will help us in basically understanding the way forward.
We will get. I like that you're touching on that. Adrien, as of June, I know you guys have also started the label quite some time ago, a number of years ago. How has this whole pandemic impacted you in maybe reshaping or maybe focusing more on the record label? Have you done that? And you know, we spoke about you guys doing the live and then stopping for the moment because you're refurbishing the club. But yeah, as the label, June, what are you guys doing?
Well, since we were so busy with the events, the label kind of took a step back for a while. But now, we are. This year we've been bringing it back, and we want to have like one release a month for the foreseeable future. So we were lucky enough to have our brother from Chicago, Immaculate, drop a track with us last month, and this guy over there,
Mr. Vanco.
Mr. Vanco, is up next,
and hopefully Mr. Ivo the Myth as well. Huh? We need to look into that. Huh?
And and you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. No. I'm done. You know, June is family, so you know we got to make this happen for sure. And so, Vanco, you and I we spoke on exactly this topic several times, and I've been telling you, for example, some of my strategies and how I have been, implementing the changes because just to add my little 2 cents to the conversation, and as beautifully brought by Eugene so far. Me personally, I have always known how to make money, but I was not financially literate enough to understand the importance of compounding my efforts and also having savings. Because when you're on the road and you're always traveling and you're always, you're making your money, you're not so stressed because you're like, okay, money's coming in, you know what's coming. So you kind of like, you feel comfortable enough that it's going to work out all right. But eventually, when this pandemic hit us, it really came and showed a majority of us, and even those who don't want to act as though it hit them, it hit everybody. And we spoke about that together with Vanco. Vanco, I know you've also, more like most of us, adapted. You started doing more lives. You also, if I recall, been noticed by the people of Blondish and a couple of other big names in the industry because of the quality of your lives. What would you say especially considering the fact that you're still relatively a new name in the game in South Africa, even though you've been doing music for quite some time and you've been knowing a lot of people in the industry. Only now or the past couple of years, past 2-3 years, you've been really getting the raising and the acclamation of your name. How do you see this whole pandemic impacting you in a positive way, and has it impacted you in a positive way?
So I like one of the things that Saint Evo took from Greg. First of all, it's like creating value. I feel like that's a very big question, because I'm not trying to answer it as for me for now. I'm just trying to answer it as a whole. I think creating value after such a pandemic is very hard, and it requires all players, from sponsors to promoters to us artists, and that's a big question that I've always been asking myself, and I don't have all the answers, but I feel like every person needs to adapt what works for them in creating in the value creation of whatever you are doing in life. At the same time, one of the biggest things that Saint Evo said, and I've been thinking about it for so long, is the behavior of artists. It even goes to promoters, to radio personalities, to managers, to all the trades. The behavior has definitely changed. So if
In which way?
I personally, I don't think for creatives it's very hard to get inspired. You don't know what people want right now. You don't know. I'm just speaking in the entertainment scene, or like it could even go into the medicine. Like I remember Greg was talking about this, his sister not trying to count bodies. It affects your body. It affects your behavior. Somehow how you conduct yourself into, and you lack on other things. So it goes down to Adrien, who's a promoter. It affects our behavior somehow. So one of the things that I personally did was asking myself, what's the new way, a new approach to make music? If I was going to the studio all the times, now I have to take a walk in the morning, maybe waking up and taking that walk or jog. It's a new way to find inspiration and a new way to connect with other things beyond people. So the negative side, we have seen it and it's still affecting us. But at the same time, it's finding that light in the darkness. There are days when, even during this pandemic, you're just generally happy. And I feel like those days are very crucial, where you have to understand what is it that's making you happy today, even though it's like a pandemic.
So mental health.
So it's mental health. So it starts there, It's like a psychic game as well, And then it's not about money. It's not about how rich you are or whatever the case might be. It's about how is your behavior. Do you find some form of inspiration? Creative juices, are they coming in? It doesn't matter what trade you are in. So it starts from there. And then from there, and then it goes down to your approach and then finding ways. So one of the things, moving into answering your question as to what I did. So one of the things I did was joining live streams. So I'm a residency for Blondish show, which is Abracadabra. So it just didn't happen over there because they've been checking. I was doing live stream for June and other live streams, and I started my online show. It's called Algra as well, just to keep up the culture, dishing out music, because I feel like radio can only do so much. Apple Music, Spotify, all these platforms can only do so much, but they need help as well by us artists. The smallest help. You don't have to be big or well-known artists, but in your small doses, you can influence the culture. So I play music from different artists that I feel like they're not being performed there. And then this is just how things has been going. So basically, in a nutshell, it's just finding light in the dark. It's that little bit. And then you keep on carrying out with the culture.
Cuba is back. Cuba is back. So hopefully we can get your point, your impressions on. I don't know if you've managed to hear what we said, but we were talking about how this whole virus impacted the industry and what it requires. And Vanco, Ivo, Greg, and Adrien were talking about the some of the creative skills that it requires to really develop if you didn't have that in the first place. So tell us a little bit, Cuba. You are a very, very well-known name in the industry. You are looked at as a Sunboy killer. And, you definitely have done a lot of massive banging tunes. I can't even count the amount of bangers y'all created, but you, Cuba, you're one.
Thank you so much.
You're one bad brother.
Hey man, all the inspiration, bro, it comes from you guys. I mean, after listening to
well. I need to add on that. You're a very humble guy. So tell us, what has been some of the things that you've put in place in order for you to stay creative and to keep your name, obviously, to stay relevant in the industry?
Well, obviously, I haven't been making music in a. Let me just do this because I can't hear myself. I haven't been making music in a long time. But I keep getting like requests for remixes and stuff like that. That keeps me afloat. I think, with the remixes are the things that are still keeping my name up there, so I can also stay relevant. Also, I've been getting quite a lot of requests from other artists for me to mix their music and to master their music. So that too I can see that, okay, the name Cuba, people still talking about me, apart from the music side. So yeah, man, it's the remixes that have been keeping me afloat. But production wise, man, like I mentioned earlier with Saints, that inspiration, I haven't been inspired in a long time, and without inspiration, I mean, creativity can't exist,
True.
So I tend to, whenever I get these remix requests, those tend to be the moments where I'm like, oh, okay, let me try out something new because I haven't produced in a while. And then I tend to come up with something that's like, oh, okay, they love it. All right, wow, that's the form of joy that I get from this whole thing, And then apart from that, I've been quite fortunate that even way before the whole pandemic and everything, Vanco knows this. I'm always someone who's always confined. I keep myself here at the house. I don't go out there a lot. And during that time, I give myself a lot of time to learn other things. And that resulted in me now doing post-production.
Okay.
So that's what has been keeping me quite busy. Doing posts for film. Like right now, I'm working on a big project. I can't reveal at the moment, but I'm working on a big project. Also,
congratulations.
Thank you so much. Doing stuff for Super Sports as well. So that has been what's keeping me busy. And I'm very much fortunate and grateful that even though with the whole situation with the pandemic, I can still try and get some money
work
into the house,
some
work as well. And also I'm very fortunate and grateful for the work that I'm getting from other fellow artists who are bringing in their work for mixing and mastering and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's been really rough, but this also kind of made my other skills or talents shine. This situation that we're in. So
it forced you to come with new solutions, man.
exactly. Like you need to make a plan. That's what I grew up. You're always told that, yeah, man, a man make a plan. So a man makes a plan.
Yeah.
So in this case, man, I'm trying to utilize all the skills that I have, even sharing skills as well, because I never know who might need them and who it might help. So I don't know if an advocate is a strong word or I can use that word, but I'm a person who believes that we need to share as much info as we can, because you never know, maybe another person can help them, it can benefit them in other ways, So
100%.
yeah, man. This pandemic, man, it's just sad that it took a pandemic to happen for us to realize the other things that we have, the hidden talents that we have. But yeah, we need to just stay strong, man. Keep our heads afloat, and yeah.
Well, I'm glad that
do better.
there's something that I like about what you just said, and it's the fact that you manage, even though you're not inspired, and you probably feel very much, drawn into these emotions related to the whole thing, which I'm maybe speculating a little bit because you haven't exactly explained the why, but I would have to definitely say that me personally, I went through a serious depression last year. Like, I have to say the first part of the whole thing, I was great, and I was doing my shows all the time, and I was psychologically like I was like boom, my shows, I was doing it every day. I mean, you guys were logging in every once in a while, and
yeah,
I was just super hyped because I wanted to. I don't know what it was, but I just had this adrenaline, this kick of adrenaline that kept me going. And then, come end of the year, I think I had accumulated me also catching COVID and almost dying from it, and having been met with my potential death, like literally face to face, was very revealing to me. So there was a lot of things that I disconnected from, as far as like emotions or sort of like. Ways I would feel about some things that help me understand that the essential is really your life, and to be healthy, and that you have family, people that you love around, and you know what, the rest will indeed follow. But like, as far as the creativity, I have to say, for me, it's been crazy. I have been, as much as I've been going through these emotion lows, but I've built that, because this is the thing, right? A lot of people, and Greg, maybe you might speak a little bit on that. For me, I've always, and I spoke about that with Adrien, and I have no problem talking about this openly because I think it's important. A name is a name, but there is so much more that goes beyond the name. And I love what you said, because you didn't try to act up. You didn't try to say, oh no. Of course you explain what you're doing, but you are very honest with you being creative or not, or what's making you not feeling creative. And I think that's very important, to be vulnerable enough to express that and say, look, it's hard, man. It's not easy. And so to stay creative in these rough times, I mean, or even to just want to go and do the floor of your club, even though there's no potential dates of you being able to reopen. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But you're just determined, and this is really amazing. And I think it's spirit. It's just that sense of positivity. Is that idea that you have to. It's that idea and that sentiment and that philosophy of constantly pushing through, no matter how hard, no matter how difficult it might be.
Exactly.
And I think that's really, really, really important. And you all of us here, I guess, testimony to that. But Greg, talking about appearances and acting as.